Joining us for a situation report on the abduction of girls at GGSS Jangebe in Talata Mafara local government area of Zamfara State is Shehu Mohammed Dati. What is the latest?
All right, good morning, Noleen. I'm right in one of the areas in Jangebe area here in Jangebe called Shia Garka. And the situation is calm anyway, like the morning situation. And I'm right standing in front of one of the houses that has a daughter that escaped the abduction because she hid in the toilet when the abductors stormed the school. And in front of me here is a house that two girls were not lucky, so they were part of those that were abducted by the abductors. I equally have a parent here who has one of his daughter that part of the girls that were abducted. He will be talking to us, telling us how he feels and what are their expectations. He will introduce himself now. Sir, can you introduce yourself to us, please?
Yeah, my name is Sanusi Gado.
Sanusi Gado.
Yes.
It happens you have a daughter and those that were abducted on Friday morning.
Yes.
Tell us, how do you receive the information that those girls have been abducted?
It was a very horrible situation. It is a very horrible situation when I was called, because I was at Guso at then. I was called over the night that the bandits have attacked the secondary school and they have carried away some of the students. So I rushed early in the morning to come. Unfortunately, I find my daughter was among those who were kidnapped. Yeah.
Now, what are your expectations? We are in the third day of the kidnap. What are your expectations now?
Our expectation is that our children will be back safely and healthy. That is the expectation, because the government is assuring us that they were doing everything possible to bring those children back to us. And we have confidence since the Kankara boys have been returned back, the Kagara boys have been returned back. So our own girls will not be left behind. We believe in the government, what they are doing, and we are hoping that very soon we will be with them.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's one of the parents expressing sincere hope that their daughters will soon come back. They have confidence in the government and what the government is doing to ensure that those girls return home. That is the situation here in Jangebe.
All right, thank you so much, Shehu Mohammed Dati, for that update. Moving on, federal government says the series of attacks on schools and abduction of students assumed by the spate of insecurity, especially in northern Nigeria, is worrisome and unacceptable, as decisive measures and strategies are being deployed to effectively address the menace. Minister for Aviation Hadi Sirika stated this when he led a presidential delegation on sympathy visit to Zamfara State over the recent massive abduction of girls at GGSS Jangebe in Talata Mafara local government area of the state. Saudi Abubakar Tunau has more.
The recent abduction of more than 300 students at Government Girls Science Secondary School, Jangebe in Talata Mafara local government area of Zamfara State, has continued to attract condemnation from across the country and beyond. A federal government delegation led by Minister for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, was at Zamfara State Government House Gusau on a sympathy visit over the sad event. Other members of the delegation include the Minister of Police Affairs, Maigari Dingyadi, that of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, and her counterpart for Women Affairs, Pauline Talin. Hadi Sirika, on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari, commiserated and identified with Zamfara State Government and people of the state, especially the families of the abducted girls over the sad incident, and reassured them of the federal government commitment to the speedy rescue of the abductees unhurt. He said President Muhammadu Buhari is particularly concerned with the condemnable trend of attacking and abducting innocent children from schools by the criminals, as new strategies are being deployed to effectively address the menace.
Government is indeed government. It has the powers, the resources, the wherewithal to attack frontally this banditry and events of this nature.
Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad applauded the federal government for the concern.
Because of the huge landmass of the state and different camps of the leaders of these banditry activities, we need more and more presence of security in such areas.
Special prayers were offered for divine intervention to the effort of addressing security challenges in Zamfara State and the country as a whole. In Gusau, Sadia Abakar Tuno, NTA News.
The Emir of Anka and Chairman Zamfara State Council of Chiefs Alhaji Atahiru Muhammad Ahmed has described the series of students' abduction in the northern part of the country as a monumental tragedy that spells doom for the education sector in the region, saying decisive measures must be taken to address the profiling crime. The Emir made the remarks when he led other members of the council on a sympathy visit to Governor Bello Muhammad at Government House, Gusau, over the recent abduction of students at Government Girls Science Secondary School, Jangebe, in Talata Mafara local government area of the state. The monarch expressed regrets that the Zamfara incident is fifth in the series of students' abduction in the country within the last few years, with huge negative impact on the education sector in the region. On behalf of traditional rulers in the state, he commiserated with the government and families of the abducted girls and urged the government not to be deterred by the sad incident in his quest to achieve lasting peace in the state.
All persons, all groups behind these terrorist incidences.
Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad, who described the visit of the royal fathers as a morale booster, says effort to rescue the abducted girls has recorded a significant progress, expressing optimism that the abductees would reunite with their families soon.
Now, all we have read here now is to see the several tones of these innocent children. As you people have noticed, that we are doing our best to make sure that these children were returned home.
In the meantime, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal of Sokoto State has described the abduction of more than 300 students of Government Girls Secondary School Jangebe in Zamfara State as a tragedy, which further demonstrates the deteriorating security situation, especially in the northern part of the country. Tambuwal, alongside the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, was at the Government House, Gusau, to sympathize with government and people of state over the sad incidents. Governor Tambuwal said the incident is a call for re-strategizing and better commitment from all stakeholders towards addressing the prevailing security challenges in the region. He charged the security agencies to intensify effort to ensure safe return of the abducted girls. Tambuwal and the Sultan had earlier met behind closed doors with Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad. Meanwhile, the Zamfara State government has debunked speculation in some online media outlets that the abducted students of Government Girls Science Secondary School, Jangebe, have been released. A statement by the press secretary to the governor, Jamilu Magaji, indicates that since Friday, when the girls were abducted by gunmen, Governor Bello Muhammad and his aides have been making frantic efforts to ensure the release of the victims. Magaji adds that such unfounded claims will only further hurt the victims' parents, government and the security agencies while aggravating an already difficult situation. The state government will immediately and happily inform the world as soon as the girls are released, the statement concludes. Now to a more cheering story. Emotional was the only word which came close to describing the scenario when the Philip family reunited with their daughter Hannatu and son-in-law Dodo, who were held captive for 10 days. Abdullahi Mohammed took stock of the 3-hour-long journey embarked upon by the family to reunite with their daughter.
The news of the release of the boys, school teachers and families abducted in Science Secondary School Kagara was a gladdening one for the family of Mr. Philip Kiaga, and waiting for 24 hours to set eyes on their daughter was like another 24 days. So the journey from Kagara to Mina. Anxiety was in the air, and so I suggested sightseeing the breathtaking rapids in River Zungeru eased detention. But there came the time mother set her eyes on her daughter. After the tears, then the experience in the hands of the bandits.
Terrible. I never prayed for even my enemy to undergo this kind of experience.
But we thank God that we are alive.
The end of a nasty experience surely deserves a pose for the cameras. For us, it's not that Mr. Kiaga's family have had a happy reunion here, but the kind of bond that we have created between us for all these days. In Mina, Niger State, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTN News.
Thank you, Abdullahi. And similarly, the All Progressives Congress has expressed joy over the safe release of the school children, teachers and their family members who were abducted from Government Science College, Kagara, Niger State. Senator John, National Secretary Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, on behalf of the All Progressives Congress, in a statement, appreciated government's efforts at all levels, including non-state actors, which ensured the safe release of the abductees. The statement assured Nigerians that focus is on the safe release of schoolgirls abducted from Government Girls Secondary School, Jangebe, Zamfara State. The News at 10 is reaching you live on the network service of the NTA. Still ahead. PTF chairman confirms the arrival of 4 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines on Tuesday. Thank you for staying with us on the News at 10 on NTN News 24. Despite threats of insecurity and communal clashes plaguing some parts of Nigeria, the National Population Commission says no place in the country will be left uncovered in its ongoing nationwide enumeration area demarcation exercise. Oluseyi Adegbo reports that the Commission gave this assurance when monitoring the EAD exercise in some local government areas of Kaduna State.
Demarcators are seen obtaining data with the use of Geographical Information System, GIS, from one household to another. This new technology used will upload the data collected nationwide and reprocess into a digital form. This process, the National Population Commission says, will enhance transparency.
With all these things we have put in place, we have sound demarcators and supervisors who have been well trained. We are sure that the demarcation exercise this time around will compare to none we have ever had in the country.
Although the demarcators experienced some restrictions in some areas, the testimony is that the areas were later demarcated, making the exercise progressive. Dr. Abdulmalik Durungua, Commissioner representing Kaduna State in the National Population Commission, leading other committee members to double-check the process, assures all that no area will be left undemarcated, no matter the tension.
We want to make sure that every home in Nigeria is demarcated, and no matter how remotely that home is, no matter the terrain or no matter how hilly that particular place is, the National Population Commission is going to outreach such areas and make sure that this demarcation is completed before July, God willing.
All the necessary cooperation that we expected from the locals have been received.
Key players that have been supporting the exercise have also been speaking on why such government program must be embraced by all.
The exercise will be successful, and with that, the government will have accurate data, for planning.
Whoever that wants to see the progress of the nation, is a must for somebody to support the exercise so that we can see the success for our progress.
The Phase 12 of the Remuneration Area Demarcation Exercise, which ended on the last weekend of February, is covering another 96 local government areas of the country, and the Phase 13 is scheduled to start on March 6th. Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
And on education, all admissions in Nigeria's tertiary institutions for the 2020-2021 academic session will end on 15th June 2021. The decision was taken at a virtual meeting between the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, and heads of tertiary institutions in the country. Registrar of JAM, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, said the meeting with the institutions was aimed at ascertaining the level they had reached on the 2020-2021 admissions scale and to forestall an endless admission regime generated by a series of disruptions to daily life occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic. After deliberation, the attendees collectively agreed that all public universities are expected to finish their admissions on or before 15th May 2021, while the private universities and all innovation enterprise institutions, polytechnics and colleges of education will complete theirs at the agreed date of 15 June 2021. Professor Oloyede reiterated that the chosen deadlines remained sacrosanct and binding on all institutions, as the board would not tolerate any breaches of the collective decision reached at the meeting. He said the board would announce in a week's time the commencement date for the scale of application documents for the 2021-2022 academic session. Still on school, Kano State government has closed down 16 boarding schools as part of proactive measures to avoid any unwanted happenings. Commissioner of Education Mohammed Sanusi Said Kiru said the closure is with immediate effect in line with security challenges. This report by Muhammad Rabiu Aliu will come in our next bulletin. Moving on to business news now. Completion of second Niger Bridge, key to economic emancipation of the Southeast. Details on business news with Chimobi Walter Naji.
The Speaker, Imo State House of Assembly, Paul Emezium, in company of other members of the Assembly, while paying a courtesy visit on the Chairman, Fiscal Responsibility Commission, appreciated the pace of work at the second Niger Bridge done by the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, and noted that the project, when completed, will improve standard of living for people in the zone and further open up business opportunities. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, Victor Morocco, appealed to Imo and other states of the Federation to key into the Commission's mandate by establishing state-based fiscal responsibility commissions to give credence to accountability, social justice and transparency in the handling of government projects, as this will ensure the quick recovery of the nation's economy.
Opportunity to appeal to you, sir, that the state can benefit a lot in terms of compliance with fiscal responsibility. It's one of the indices that are used for some special grants in states that have adopted the law, have set up their fiscal responsibility agency, and that it is operational. I don't want this visit to go by without our achieving this.
And therefore, we cannot hide it, but to say thank you, Mr. President. We also know the worth of that project, and we can also see the speed at which the project is going. We believe that that project is already an achieved one.
Meanwhile, negative streak continues in the capital market as at the close of transactions on the nation's bourse for the week ended Friday 26 February 2021. The all-share index still pointed southwards, shedding 0.74% off its basis points. Let's see how the market fared at the close of trading for the week.
So it's been a red week in the sense that we had losses, in the main. The week on week, we are talking about a loss of 0.96%. As at the close of trading this Friday, the market is losing, the equities market is losing 0.74%. So if you take it week on week, we have 0.96% loss week on week. And it's not just for this week, really. The entire month has been a red month.
With business news, I'm Chimubi Walter Naji.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has ruled out any increment in the ex-depot price of petrol in March 2021. A statement by the Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, Dr. Kenny Obateru, indicates that the corporation is not contemplating any raise in the price of petrol in March in order not to jeopardize ongoing engagement with organized labor and other stakeholders on an acceptable framework that will not expose the ordinary Nigerian to any hardship. NNPC also cautioned petroleum products marketers not to engage in arbitrary price increase or hoarding of petrol in order not to create artificial scarcity and unnecessary hardship for Nigerians. The corporation adds that it has enough stock of petrol to keep the nation well supplied for over 40 days and urges motorists not to indulge in panic buying. The statement called on relevant regulatory authorities to step up monitoring of the activities of marketers with a view to sanctioning those involved in product hoarding or arbitrary increase of pump price.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.